All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Exclusive Sit Down with Teddy Jarrard, #2 quarterback in the nation. He just committed to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Teddy, how good does it feel, man, to be a Fighting Irish officially?
It feels great, honestly. I'm just excited to move forward in this process and, give the fans what they want. So,
100%. Obviously, in your recruiting, it obviously kind of blew up, Teddy. Obviously, you got 35, 40 offers, Why did you decide to kind of stop it here? Just you're going to go ahead and commit to the school, and with this 2 years eligibility still remaining?
Yeah, I think my thought process was, I know where I want to go. Why wait any longer? So, Notre Dame's the spot I want to be. I love the coaches up there. I love Coach Freeman, what he's doing with his program. And I think the fans really support their players and are, great towards them.
And then talk about your relationship with, obviously, Coach Gino. I know that was a big part of this, obviously, recruitment. We see what he's been able to do with great quarterbacks like Riley Leonard and several others to come before you. Just talk about a relationship with him.
Yeah, Coach Gino's great. I remember the first time he came and saw me was spring ball this year, and we kind of clicked and hit it off. So I think we have very similar personalities and vibes. So, it's going to be fun working with him, and, what he has to offer is a lot. So I think I'm just excited in general.
And then obviously Coach Freeman, I remember you described him as young, energetic. What's it kind of like being around him? How does he kind of like coach up the players from visits you've seen?
Yeah, Coach Freeman's amazing. He's just super young and energetic. Like you said, but I think he's a lot different than a lot of head coaches. I think a lot of head coaches, are laid back and, not as involved in their program, but he loves his players and, just really pours into them. And I think that's why a lot of people are rallying around him right now at Notre Dame. And I think it's a fun place to be and a fun program to play at.
What's one of your favorite things just about the university in general?
The times I've been up there, I love the people. Everybody up there is amazing. And they really love Notre Dame football. Notre Dame football is a big part up there, and I think, if you're going to play football, that's a place to be. And, it's just great culture and just amazing vibes. They stand for stuff, and that's important.
Yeah, I think something we, Dingus just talk about, tell you, the underrated part of your game is just your ability to be an improviser, right? You can set up different things. Once the play breaks down, even though I know you're a pocket passer, you can create. Talk about that ability and being able to bring that to the Notre Dame offense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a big part of my game for the last couple of years, and, I'm trying to get better at it each year. That's the goal. And, I think if you're able to improvise, it makes defenses struggle, and they don't know what to do. They don't know who to guard. And I think that's been a big part of my game and why I've been so successful.
And then let's talk about just real quick, just your dual threat ability. A lot of people sleep on your legs, but we know you're getting faster and stronger there. Talk about your ability just to be able to run the ball, similar to obviously Riley Leonard. I mean, they're going to ask a lot of you at Notre Dame. Just talk about that aspect of your game.
Yeah, I think my aspect is really I'm a passer first, and that's what I've always been. But defenses can't sleep on my legs because I've been able to prove for the past couple of years I've been getting a lot better at it. And I think, I'm always going to pass and I'm always going to run. Just make defenses kind of make decisions at what I'm going to do, kind of trick them and, get ways around them.
For sure. Now, for Notre Dame people that don't know a lot about you, what do you think makes you special, Teddy? What makes you different from the rest?
I think I go at it each and every day. The goal is to get a little bit better. I'm a perfectionist. I try and be as perfect as possible every time. And, I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to football, as long as I'm, focusing on what I am not great at and just focus on getting better each and every day. So.
For sure. All right, let's recount a little bit of the 2024 season before you obviously transferred to North Cobb. Obviously, great year, right? 2,700 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. Just recount that sophomore campaign. Freshman year, a lot of people don't know, you led North Cobb Christian to the first ever region title. So you're always making history. Last year, you had a big road victory. Talk a little bit about that just last year in general.
Yeah, honestly, I think I made big strides from freshman to sophomore year. Really grew up, and, that's the biggest thing. I've been lucky to be able to play 2 full seasons of football as a freshman and sophomore. So I'm just grateful and blessed for that. But, I think going into the season, into my sophomore season, my biggest goal was to lower my interception rate and be very accurate. So I think I did that with 72% accuracy for the season and lowered my interceptions to 3 or 4. So I think, each year I'm going into the year, with a goal, and that was my goal. And we ended up going on the road to Savannah last year, beating them. Top 20 team in the state, and we were big underdogs in that game. We ended up going to the Final Four, first time in school history, and I think we made big strides as a program, and I'll forever love my school, North Cobb Christian. So
100%. All right, now you're in North Cobb. You're obviously training a lot. New head coach and Shane Queen. Talk about your relationship with him and obviously the offensive coordinator as you kind of made that jump, obviously, this offseason.
Yeah, they've been great to me so far for the time I've been there. Really put me under their wing and have, it's a great culture here at North Cobb. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get better. There's a lot of leaders, and I think that's huge when you want to win football games. And, I think the big difference from North Cobb is just, everybody loves football in North Cobb. That's a big thing. And when you really have a goal towards everything, everybody's striving to get better each and every day. And I think they have a lot of similarities with me. And, when you put a lot of people in the same room that have the same goals, big things happen.
Obviously, you're getting into obviously some of your teammates. So I know you got Zachary Bell, you still Ingram. Just tell us about some of your teammates this year for North Cobb.
Yeah, I think we have a great team this year, especially at the O-line, the running back position, offensively at receiver, and defense. I think our team plays together. It's a brotherhood. And I think we have big goals as a team. And, there's always people who are going to be like, they're single players, but at the end of the day, everybody on the team matters, and you can't win without them. So I think, our players on our team that, are leaders, they pick everybody up. And, I'm going to the season, nobody's above anybody else. We're all going in it the same. And as a team, basically, you got Zachary Bell, great running back, Brandon Anderson, great tackle, who have a lot of hype. But there's also a lot of other guys on the team who work just as hard, if not harder. And I think that's a big thing about North Cobb is, not everybody gets seen. And but, their work is not forgotten by us, and everybody there realizes it.
For sure. And then, obviously, Teddy, what's your big goal this year first off? I know everything's team oriented. I know you were teaching that state title like you were in your years past, but talk about interception rate. Talk about, what do you want to kind of clean up, or what do you want to work on the most?
Yeah, this year, I think, every year I'm trying to get more accurate and better at processing the game. And, the goal this year, 72% accuracy last year. The goal this year is going to be trying to get 80%, Just strive for big goals here, and obviously you want to win a state championship, and I think every week we're going to try and go 1-0. That's our goal, and we're going to go from there. So each week we're going to face our opponent. We're going to try and win. I'm going to try and be as accurate as possible.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to try and throw for as many yards as I can. So.
All right, let's talk about that part that we talked about earlier, the processing part. Obviously, I think you're a very cerebral player. I know you watch a lot of film, but how do you perfect processing the game better, being able to dissect coverages, the pass protections, the slides, different things like that you have to adjust at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to play a lot of football this early in my career in high school, and I think just by playing the game more, it's got me prepared, and being able to read defenses and know coverages and know where the defense is going to be. And I think just the more I play, the more I learn. And at the end of the day, I think the better you process things, the faster you process things, the better you are as a quarterback. And that's my goal every single practice. When we're going team periods, when we're going 7-on-7s or anything, I'm just trying to, go through my reads faster and faster each time and, put the ball where it needs to be.
100%. Now, Teddy, let's talk just obviously a little bit about you off the field a little bit to kind of get to know you. Obviously, what are some of your favorite things to do off, obviously, the field?
Yeah, I got two things. I love to golf, and I love wake surfing behind the boat, going up to the lake. Those are two things that I really enjoy, get my mind off of football, spending time with family, obviously. And, I have a great support system with my family and coaches and everybody around me. So I'm fortunate and lucky. But when I'm not playing football, you'll catch me on the golf course or at the lake.
And I think I asked you this before, but what's one of the best, obviously, scores you've ever had just shooting golf?
Yeah, I'm not a great golfer, but I have shot an 88 before. It's not terrible, not the greatest, but I'm still working on it. And the goal each time I go out there is just have fun and get a little bit better. I'm competitive, so I'm going to try and get better. Try and get to about – my goal is scratch eventually. It's probably going to take me a while, but I'm going to try and get there.
If you can, tell us a little about just your competitive nature, Teddy. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but you obviously very competitive. You hold yourself to a very high standard, and you're probably your own biggest critic. Talk about that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're not pushing yourself, you're not doing something right. So I think, I've been competitive my whole life, and I think if you want to play this sport, you got to be competitive. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. And I think at North Cobb, we're surrounded by a lot of competitive people, and everywhere I've played, people, you're going to find competitors, and, I think it's just drove me a little bit more just to be the best I can and, try and be as perfect as possible, like I said, because, it's the little things that separate people. And, that's my goal, is to try and chase after the little things that matter and the details.
For sure. Now, a lot of people don't know this about you, Teddy, but you have a really cool pregame tradition. You've been doing it since the freshman year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, before every game I wear the same super long shorts. I've been doing it since freshman year. Before each game, they probably go down about my ankles, but I don't know. Me and my old buddy, we started it freshman year, and now I've done it every single game. It's kind of like a good luck charm, and I'm going to continue that tradition.
For sure. Do you have a favorite playlist or anything that you like to listen to get in the mode, or are you just already said I'm good?
Yeah, so my goal before each game is to be as calm as possible. I know a lot of people, try and get amped up or hyped up before a game, but that's just not me. I think my job as a quarterback is to control the team, be calm. So I'll either listen to some, peaceful meditation music, or I'll listen to some soft country music. I'm not a big rap guy, never have been. But anything that really calms my mind, I'll listen to a podcast. I have this same YouTube video that I watch most of the time before each game. Sometimes I forgot to, but just anything that really calms my mind and just gets me in that state where I'm kind of laser focused on the goal at hand and the task. So,
last two before we let you go, Teddy. I want to ask you, just obviously talk about your pregame tradition, how you calm down. Let's walk through a moment. Your team's battling, y'all down 21-14. Gotta have it drive. You're going through adversity. Probably not your best game. You don't have any picks, but you're not firing how you usually are or you want to. What do you tell your teammates in that huddle in that final drive?
I think in that situation, the energy's high. Everybody's got a lot of adrenaline running. I think saying anything that kind of calms the team down, making the moment not as big. A lot of people were like, it gets too big for them in the moment. And, I think just making the team realize that, it's just a game. At the end of the day, it's not going to change who we are. It's not going to change our identity. And, I think as long as we're stand our ground and, stay calm and realize, that we don't make it bigger than it actually is. And I think that's a big thing when it comes to leadership and when you're trying to tell the team what to do. And that's my biggest goal this season, actually, is, coming into this new spot at North Cobb and just, really show this team that I'm a leader by, showing them I'm working on my vocals and but also showing them a leader by what I do on the field. So that's big.
And last thing, we'll let you get out of here. Anybody you want to shout out for helping you obviously get to this moment, Teddy? I know you're putting a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding, family, obviously your brothers who's helping us out here. Anybody you want to shout out for, we'll let you go?
Yeah, there's so many people that have helped me through this journey, and all my coaches at North Cobb Christian have been amazing. I'll forever love that place. Coach Matt Jones, Coach Varner, Coach Armani Martin, Coach Egger, you guys have been awesome to me, and I'll forever remember that place. Coach Queen at North Cobb, as well as Coach TQ, Coach Ingram, the whole staff, they're all amazing. My sister Brittany, my family, my two brothers, Gunnar and Colt, mom and dad, and also all my other family members, my uncle and aunt, Courtney Phillips, Corey Phillips, and all my youth travel ball coaches as well, Coach Brandon Jacobs, Coach DJ Jacobs, Coach David Jacobs, and Torrance McKnight, as well as Coach Van Horst and Coach Ron Veal, my quarterback trainer. He's been amazing to me ever since he brought me under his wing, and I wouldn't be the man I am today without him and the quarterback. So all those people, I know I'm probably missing somebody, but just know I'm grateful, and I love what everybody's done for me around me.
That's it. Message for, as we go out, message for Notre Dame faithful.
Go Irish. I'm ready to work and compete. You're getting a guy that's going to, put his body on the line to try and win, and I'm going to work as hard as possible.
There y'all have it. Go Irish, and we'll obviously have more later on, man. Teddy Jarrard, No.2 quarterback in the nation. Thanks for the interview.